Hello my friend, welcome to the Dev Kit. My name's Dev and here's today's kit. It is the GCHD by Eon. This is the first generation of GCHDs. What it is it allows you to turn your GameCube into a device that outputs HDMI. So it's a really tiny little box here. Here, check that out. Now the GCHD is only compatible with GameCubes that are marked DOL1, DOL-001. I think that's like their model number or something. This one's a DOL1. This is the Game Boy player. Let me take this thing off. This thing's a beast. Oh god, there's screws on it. I'm not taking it off. But anyway, you can tell it's a DOL1 because it has this port on it. Check this out. Right there. That's a digital AV out port. I don't know if you can read it. There's the power. There's the analog AV out. That's the digital AV out. That is what lets you output to HDMI. Now let me give you a brief history lesson. The main reason that the GameCube, at least the first generation GameCubes, the DOL1s, had a digital out is because there was actually a canceled peripheral that was planned that was basically supposed to be like a prototypical 3D screen. Like they wanted to experiment with 3D. I know like the Virtual Boy bombed and really Nintendo should have learned their lesson, but they wanted to experiment with 3D long before the 3DS. The reason that the GameCube had a handle on the back is because this is supposed to be Nintendo's first portable console. It's not really that portable. Like, it's no Switch, that's for sure. But the whole point of the handle, the small cube design, was that this is supposed to be a console that you could very easily pick up and bring with you. And to facilitate that, they had this digital out that would attach to a screen that would sit on top of the GameCube and fold up so that you could play it, I guess, in your car or something. In fact, it would fold up kind of like the way the disc tray lid folds up. It'd be kind of like that. It would sit on top of the thing, you'd open it up, and then you'd play it. However, that peripheral obviously never came to fruition, and so later models of the GameCube did not have this digital AV out. Now, for those of you who don't know, the digital AV out is what lets you output HDMI through this device. Because HDMI is a digital format, the GameCube can already do digital natively. You can't really just plug a simple adapter into an analog slot and get a good HDMI signal out of it. There are some solutions to that, but they're either low quality or very expensive. So the fact that this version of the GameCube has a digital out makes this very easy and affordable. So let's take a look inside this thing. I've been using it now for a little while, so the plastic casing's gone, but I have everything. There it is. You can see the dust on it. This thing's been in use in my place for a while. But that's it. That's the Generation 1 Eon GCHD. Let's check this stuff out here. Some manuals. Nothing else really in there. GCHD Operations Manual. It's just a piece of paper. Oh, that's tiny. I don't know if the camera's going to be able to pick that up. Here's the IR sensor instructions. What's really interesting is there's a mode on this where once it's installed and set up, you can hold down this button on the device. It's a really tiny button. And it's not focusing, but there's a little button there. And then pair up a universal TV remote to go through all the various options, which is quite interesting. And the second paper is just a copyright sheet. So that's it. That's what you get. Here's the device itself. The HDMI port comes out on the side. It plugs in like this, and it comes out on the side. It's a little bit strange, but it works. You've got the digital connector right there. Pretty good. And then you've got this just is a plastic shell that fits inside the analog connector. It doesn't actually do anything, but it provides it with a little bit of extra stability. Now here's something interesting about putting this thing together. You take your GCHD, you stick it in there, and look how hard you have to press. There's a little click there. That means it's in. It takes quite a bit of pushing to get it in. And in fact, I didn't catch this on tape, but many people have noticed it on YouTube and other places. Your first time putting it in, you'll have to push excruciatingly hard to make it snap in there. Like, you'll put it in fairly firmly, and it'll be firm, but then it has like a little bit of give to it, right? But you don't really think much of it. You hook it up, it doesn't work. So you wonder if the individual item that you got was defective, or if you just got swindled or something. But no, you actually haven't put it in as hard as you should. You have to push it and push it and push it the first time until there is this loud pop, like a plastic pop sound. And then subsequent times plugging it in, it's not nearly as hard. But it's almost scary how much you have to put it in. You know how sometimes if you're installing a CPU onto a motherboard, and then you have to put the fan on or the heat sink or something, and you really gotta push on it, and you're like afraid that you're gonna snap the motherboard or something's gonna go wrong because you're applying so much force just to get that thing in and to get it clamped down. Yeah, it's like that times 2. It's an unreal amount of force. I was sweating getting this thing in the first time. Now there actually is a revision to this, the GCHD, I guess version 2 or something. It has the HDMI come out on the front. I don't have that version. Maybe they also fixed the really hard to plug in issue, but it's not really that much of an issue, honestly. I don't have that version though. I have this one, and it looks amazing. Check out these comparison shots. Here's the opening cutscene for 007 Everything or Nothing on the GameCube, captured through both the GCHD and the standard ST GameCube cables. As you can see, the GCHD's HDMI output is pixel perfect, while the standard capture is quite blurry. It's strange because sometimes I actually prefer the original, weirdly enough, because the blurriness actually hides the fact that it's so pixelated and it's not a modern game. But the fact that we're using a digital out converted to HDMI and playing it on a modern TV, we can really see the limitations of the GameCube system. It's almost like the blurriness of the CRTs kind of covered it up a little bit, you know? I guess it all depends on what style you like. If you want it to look as it did when you were a kid, well, that means it's going to be a little bit muddy. But most of the time, the better picture comes out of the GCHD. The big plus for the GCHD, though, is that when you're playing on a modern TV, I think there's actually less lag on it. The GameCube generates a digital signal. It converts it to analog to go through its SD out cables. Then when it gets to your modern HD TV, it has to convert it back to digital. The result is not only blurriness, but a little bit of input lag. The GCHD seems to solve that problem because it's digital all the way down. It's not perfect though, because sometimes the fine details, like on text or something, it actually looks slightly worse through the GCHD because of the pixelation, when you compare it to the SD cable's blurriness, which just smooths over the text, making it look a bit more legible. I don't think it's that big of a deal though. So yeah, I would highly recommend this device if you want to run your GameCube through an HDMI cable into an HDMI compliant TV. 1080 HD, looks amazing. It might be a little bit expensive for some people, but it is a device that just works, and in my opinion, it's worth the money. Alright, my friends, that was the GCHD from Eon. I'll check you later. I love you.